Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. In the first video, we'll be looking at how we can basically break up a Moyo in this lecture. So, a lot of times in our early games, we need to have a strategy in mind. As we can see on the board, you're playing as black, let's suppose, and then your opponent decided to make a very traditional Joseki on the top left. And now we can see some sort of tendency of a white getting a huge Moyo on the board. So namely around this area. So as black, how can we effectively not let our opponent get whatever he wants, right? He wants big Moyo. He wants to, do the Moyo fights and stuff. How can we kill that in the first place? So right now, since it's very early in the game, there are many moves that are okay. So black can even be very patient and just take more territory and invade later. And those are perfectly fine. There's no wrong move. But we need to have, let's say we need to have a consistent idea in mind for our games. Because if you just play 03, no one can criticize you for that. But then when our opponent plays d10 to form the Moyo, what are we going to do about it? If we just keep playing very patiently, well, our opponent will just keep playing over here, and then this becomes very, very large. And then I'm pretty sure most of you are familiar with this kind of feeling that you have to destroy opponent's Moyo. You have to invade here and there, and you just have to keep doing that. And then at the end, you lose by like 10 points, 15 points. So to avoid that from happening, let's say right now you're not too confident with your fighting skills. You're not too confident with the tactics, which I will help you guys strengthen later on. But if you're not very confident with Moyo fights, especially when you are on the defensive side, this is a great time to not let that happen as black. So the move. So let's go through the thought processes. There are probably a few moves we can play. The first thing that comes to mind is probably this approach at c6, right? So, and then another thing is maybe we can split here. Maybe we can also go ahead and split here. Maybe we can even split here, right? Like to be a little bit further from the wall. So I would say most of these choices are correct. But once again, as I said, if you just have one correct move, that's really not enough for you to gain any advantage or just win the game. It's about you being able to see some follow-ups. So let's think about if we just approach here, white will choose his Joseki very, very easily, actually. So white can obviously not play out things like this, because now black's able to get a 3-space extension that not only settles black, but also destroys everything that that this wall offers. So there's no potential to, you can still expand, but I mean this. But I mean, if this is all what you get, this wall is kind of useless. So that's not going to happen, which means white's not going to choose any Joseki that allows black to basically go ahead and just make extension, right? Like let's say if white plays this one, black is able to also make an extension and just it does two things: settles and destroy any potential that white has over here. So white's response is likely going to be a pincer. So not only prevents the extension, but also expands himself. So this would be a nice move when it comes to ideas. Then black is kind of under pressure immediately. Even if our c6 looked just fine, and it's probably fine in the eyes of AI, but we have to know what to do next. So if we just, play out the most simple Joseki, you can obviously do that, and your win rate is going to be fine. But what's going to happen next is White might follow up with this one. White next is going to have a very nice move at g5 to keep expanding whatever he has over here. So the game is still very playable at this point. I would say even for people at my level, let's just be honest, like the 6 stance and 7 stance, probably a lot of people would prefer playing as black at this point. But since my series mostly target people who want to become, who want to go into the Dan level, who want to, avoid dangerous invasions because they're not particularly good at those things, we want to avoid this kind of scenario. But then at this point, we don't really have a good way to avoid it because if you play this one, White can just hop out. If you play d9, given that White has a strong wall here, this might be an overplay. So White can go ahead and fight you, and this is not going to be an easy fight for Black, right? So if you don't want any of those to happen, you might need a simpler and more suitable idea. So the correct move for us to play is actually to play d10 in this scenario. This is a much cleaner idea or much simpler idea for my viewers. Why is that? Because by playing d10 we create a Mii situation. We have a very nice extension at d13 and we have a nice extension at c6. And White cannot stop that from happening because it's a Mii. If White attacks from this side, that will be an inaccuracy. Black can go ahead and start approaching the start point. When White defends, Black can just jump out. So this is more like previously when Black was able to get the extension, very nice settled group, and White over concentrates in this area. Because this is very narrow, right? If you try to work on this, this is just over concentration, and most of your stones are inefficient if you play this way as White. So a more accurate way for White to keep going is to pincer from the other side, right? Pushing Black towards the wall. And now Black can go ahead and make the 2-space extension. So the Mii is achieved, right? You get one, I get the other. So very, very easy to master. Now, next move, Black is obviously aiming at this peep. And this is very, very pleasant peep for Black. And there's no good way for White to really prevent it, because if you play a Tiger's Mouth to prevent it, Black can easily hop into the middle, and your group in the center will just be so free. There's no way White can really attack these 3 guys. They're in such good shape. They control the center. They're just dancing in the center, right, in a very beautiful way. So. And the problem for White is, let's now look at what are these guys doing. Not much, right? It's pretty much a group instead of anything that makes an influence. So White's better continuation is to start from the outside. Try to push Black as much as possible towards the wall. Black will follow up with the peep. Here White really does not have a defense other than just connect, because this cut is very serious. And now Black can go ahead and follow up with f11. So I think locally the variation is going to end here. And White is free to do something else on the board. And now, as we can see, we have very successfully destroyed White's Moyo. We have been very, very good at just avoiding a Moyo fight, avoiding dangerous invasion in the future by immediately making a split slash invasion. And we got a very comfortable group. We can later on, not now, we need to respond to this approach, but later on we have many things that we can look at. We can look at playing a move here to keep pressuring White's group over here, and other things we can potentially look at, stopping White from going this way, letting White go into the center. So White's group is gonna be under attack, right, later on, not right now, because it's not so easy to attack, but later on it is a possibility that we can later on check. So yeah, at this point the game will keep going, and Black's group is actually a lot safer than or Black group is very safe, and White might become a target of attack here. And if ever we're able to make White's group a target of attack, that's excellent for us, because we turn White's wall into an isolated group that generates profits for Black later on. So this is an excellent way that I want you to remember and apply in your game, is that before our opponent is able to connect everything and make a huge Moyo, we can take immediate action and then just hop in right here and create a Mii situation with a split. So split is what we learned today. When White gets rid of extension on one side, we take the other side. And when White pressures, we can go ahead and just get ourselves out, and then we can potentially attack White's group. So two very, very interesting idea. One is to split opponent's Moyo when it's not even formed. And the second thing is to keep an eye onto our opponent wall. So our opponent's wall is not always a wall. As the game goes on, it becomes a target of attack later on, right? As I have said, later on we might have ways to keep pressuring, forcing this group to start making a life, and to be very careful about its life and death and security and all. So in this way, our invasion has been very, very successful, right? Not only we have a safe group, but also we keep the very aggressive idea in mind, that is in the future that we can potentially do something to these guys. So alright, so this is our first lecture, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. For now, thank you very much for watching, and I will talk to you guys next.